You get into making manga. As somebody who's published multiple books and just launched my third series today, it not only has some good art and some very cultured prints. Where the hell do you start in this process? Well, it starts with a little bit of inspiration from various sources of media, like Deepstalker Crow was inspired by The Goat Bloodborne, Claymore, and the Witcher series. And of course, since all my stories came from my D&D games, obviously D&D was an inspiration. So think about the things that you love in these mediums and the things that you hate. Like, I hate the sexualization of minors. I hate the over-reliance of SA. I hate useless, poorly written fucking women characters. I love me some waifus that are completely badass and have a buttload of depth to them. So when I go into writing these characters, I personally always carry the weight of not becoming the thing that I hate. In terms of writing, that puts a lot of motivation on me to always make sure I'm doing my research and make sure that I'm listening to the community to see what are things that are going on that other creators are doing really, really well and things that creators could improve on. While I know the anime community is absolutely awful at taking criticism of any of their favorite shows, it's a critical part at helping the next generation get better. But you got your idea, so what do you do then? My recommendation, you don't start working on one of these. The reason is because these things are 200 plus pages long if you want to do a full volume. That is easily a year to 2 years worth of work. And if you don't have anything under your belt, making manga is not one of those things you get instant gratification for. It is delayed gratification. And if you have not done this before, it will have you wondering constantly whether or not you can do it, whether or not the investment is worth it. Like the original Deepstalker Crow back in like 2019. You see how thin this is? This is like 22 pages of content. That was my very first visual piece of content, and it took a year of production. And then I moved on once I learned my lessons to this. It's only 64 pages of content. I took those lessons, and I moved forward with The Night of Slaughter and The Devil's Deal simultaneously. Don't start two projects at once. But the reason I will always harp on start small is because making manga is such a huge investment. If you're not drawing yourself, it is a load of money. Absolutely mind-boggling amount of money. This tens of thousands of dollars for this book. Not even talking about printing costs. Deepstalker Crow, just to get 500 copies, is going to be $4 grand. Not only is that money, but that's space that you gotta make for. So start small on a project that's 5 to 10 pages long and see how you feel. Do you even like making manga? Do you even like this medium of visual storytelling? As I started out as a novelist, I wrote 3 books, a full trilogy, never released them. But it was during that process I learned the fundamentals of storytelling that allowed me to be able to go into the visual medium without having to sink tens of thousands of dollars into making this product. Let me get my feet wet to make sure I can tell a story. Because the most important thing in comics and manga is the story. The art is there to serve the story. So it doesn't matter how good your art is, if you can find the best artist in the world. If your story is shit, it will not stick. It might get some initial attention, but it's not there for the long run. And if you're going to invest the time, the money, the energy, you better make sure your writing chops are up to par. And my recommendation is start as a novelist or something in that realm that allows you with low cost. And while it's definitely not low effort, but it's a lot quicker to figure out storytelling through prose than it is through comics. That way you develop the muscles. That way you develop everything you need so you can come into this medium, the manga medium, absolutely swinging. Go ahead and grab a copy of Deepstalker Crow. All you got to do is see the bio.